Hey folks, imagine this. You're staring down a brand new SUV, fresh off the lot, loaded with gadgets that beep and glow like a sci-fi flick, and it's yours for 60 grand, easy. But right next to it in the parking lot sits a rusty old beast from the 90s. Doors creaking like an old friend's laugh, and some fool just dropped 80K on it without blinking. What the hell's going on? Stick with me, because by the end of this ride, I'll spill the one secret that LL make you question every shiny new toy you've ever owned. Trust me, it's not what you think. Man, if you're here on Gearhead Garage, you already get it, this ain't your grandma's car channel. We're the ones who sneak out at midnight for that backroad cruise, where the exhaust sings and the stars feel close enough to touch. No fluff, just the raw pulse of rubber on asphalt. The stories these machines whisper if you listen close. I've been elbow deep in engines since I could barely see over the hood, swapping carbs on my dad's 72 Chevelle while he cussed the carburetor cleaner fumes. And tonight, we're cracking open why those boxy 90s Toyota Land Cruisers, the ones with the tape decks and zero cut folders, are outpricing the hell outta today's so-called ultimate SUVs in 2025. Buckle up. This is gonna feel like that endless highway stretch after a rain, where every mile uncovers something wild. Picture it, it's 1990, the Berlin Wall's crumbling, grunge is about to explode, and Toyota drops the 80 series Land Cruiser like a mic at a rock show. Not some cushy mall crawler, this thing was built for the apocalypse. Inline 6.1, FSEF under the hood, pumping 155 horses that don't quit, mated to a full-time four-wheel drive setup with low-range gearing that laughs at mud pits deeper than your regrets. Frame as tough as a bar fight. Solid axles front and rear that flex like a gymnast on steroids, and brakes that actually stop you when the trail turns mean. Fast forward to now, 2025, and these relics are fetching 70, 80, even north of 100,000 on the low end for a clean one. Why? 'Cause the new stuff's gone soft, brother. Take the 2025 Land Cruiser. Toyota's own reboot. Starts at $58,000 for the base trim. Hybrid four-banger, making 326 horses on paper, sure, but it's sipping electrons like a vegan at a steakhouse. All for efficiency. Don't get me wrong, it'll crawl a mild trail without drama, but compare that to the 90s iron. The old 1S got that bulletproof straight six that idles forever on a tank of anything vaguely flammable, no computers to fry in a puddle. New 1S got infotainment screens bigger than my first apartment and adaptive cruise that nannies you like a helicopter parent, but heart, it's a mall warrior pretending to be rugged. While the 90s Cruiser S, the grizzled vet who actually saw combat in the Australian outback or some forgotten logging road. And it's not just nostalgia tax, though, hell yeah, that's part of it. These old cruisers hold value like gold in a crash. Flip open the classifieds. A stock 97 with 200K miles. 65,000 easy. Restore it with period-correct patina and some old man emu shocks. You're in six figures. Why? Reliability, that's damn near mythical. Toyota built M, when overbuilt, meant something triple octaves that claw through sand like it's butter. No plastic bits to snap on the first rock. I've seen M in documentaries, hauling aid through war zones in Africa, still running after decades of abuse. Compare that to a new Jeep Grand Cherokee, pushing 60K loaded, or a Ford Bronco that's fun but flips resale faster than a bad Tinder date. The Cruiser, it's the anti-depreciation machine. Buy one now, park it in the barn for 5 years, sell it for more. It's like investing in vinyl records while everyone's streaming compressed crap. But here's the off-the-wall bit that keeps me up at night. These 90s trucks aren't just surviving, they're evolving in the wild. Mod culture's exploded, guys grafting in modern EFI for better throttle response, or slapping on roof tents for van life vibes without the soccer mom minivan feel. Remember the 80s 4Runner? Same bloodline, but the Cruiser's the big brother who never grew up. It's got that soul, the way the doors thud shut like a vault, the heater that roasts you in a blizzard, the sheer mass that makes highways bow. New SUVs, they're efficient, yeah, connected, sure, but they lack that analog thrill. Punch the skinny pedal in a 95 Cruiser, and it's like waking a sleeping bear. Unfiltered torque that shoves you back. No turbo lag or hybrid whine. It's therapy on wheels. Man, I took mine up the Rubicon last summer. No spotter, just me and the ghosts of overlanders past. That rattle, that creak, it's alive. Now, don't think I'm hating on progress. Hell, if you're city-bound, a new hybrid hauler's fine for grocery runs. But for the real ones, the gearheads chasing sunsets over single track, the 90s Cruiser's a time capsule that's outrunning time itself. Prices climbing cause supplies drying up. The emissions regs killed them off, and the ones left are battle-scarred legends. It's a reminder, cars aren't just transport, they're stories etched in rust and welds. That 95 of mine, sold it last year to a kid half my age for double what I paid. Felt like passing a torch, watching him grin as it fired up. So here's the gut punch I promised, the hidden gem that ties it all. The real reason these dinosaurs are trumping new rides. It's not the iron or the history, it's you, us, the tribe that craves connection over convenience, grit over gloss. In a world of disposable everything, the cruiser's the middle finger to planned obsolescence. Proving some things get better with scars makes you wonder, what's your unbreakable ride? The one that'd fetch a fortune tomorrow? Hit the comments, spill it, let's swap tales. If this fired you up, smash that like, sub for more midnight confessions from the garage, and share with your riding crew. Drive safe, drive real. Catch you on the flip.